Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Shai by Shem Kakodash. Excuse me. Giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Shai by Shem Kakodash. Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. Let me clear my throat a little bit. Okay, here we go. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video Back to the Basics. The NT Gentiles are Israelites. The NT Gentiles are Israelites. And the NT, if you don't know, NT stands for New Testament. The New Testament Gentiles are Israelites. So I'm going to try to do more videos dealing with the basics, and I guess I'll call it Back to the Basics. And anybody that want to use that title, feel free to use it, whether you're in GMS or any other camp. Feel free to use it. And I'm going to try to stay with the spirits on me. Because when we teach, the thing is, I got to go deeper on the next one, deeper. Sometimes you got to come back. You got to come back to the basics. The video I did recently on the new moon is not the full moon. I did 3 videos on that. Matter of fact, let me bring them up. And I make it crystal clear that the new moon is not the full moon. And this is this faggot, Zelensky, dressing up like a damn, I'm not even going to show you, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. Look, that's Zelensky grabbing another dude's butt. Is he here? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. These are Ukrainian. That's him in the middle. That's your president. So, we look, any man is wearing pumps. You got to get away from that individual. Anyway, let me do this. Let me. Okay, this is another video that was put up, GMS Vegas sit down 144K. And this is, there was a video put up earlier today, which I did a response to that the elder Manat Zakbar did. He went into the word bibliolatry, bibliolatry, which means taking the word of the Most High literal. Like everything that you read is literal. Well, we don't take everything literal. There's certain spiritual things, there's spiritual meaning behind certain scriptures, especially when it comes to the prophecies. So what did I do? What did I say I was going to go? Oh, let me do this. Let me come over here to. Bear me for a minute. Do it this way. Just bear with me. If you don't want to bear with me, just go watch another video. Because I don't care. Let me see. Where the hell is it? Bear with me for a minute. Okay, this is what I wanted. Okay, I'm going to go here. Go to videos. Look at this. We nonstop with ours. Look at that. Day one day, one, two, three, four videos inside of one day. This is 2 days ago, one, two videos. 3 days ago, one, two videos. 4 days ago, one, two, three. 5 days ago, two videos. Come on, y'all. I mean, you put up videos when the spirit is on you, but the spirit should pretty much always be on you. Let me see. Okay, these are the videos that I did. I thought I did 3 videos on that. Bear me for a minute. I'm trying to find. Okay, wow, it's way down here. The new moon is not the full moon. More facts. So watch this video. Then I come back 2 days later and I do 2 videos back to back. The new moon controversy continues. And then finally, a lunar eclipse can last 3 hours or more. And I give you documents to prove that. The longest lunar eclipse in history, as they got it, is some sites say 2 hours. The longest is 3 hours, almost 4 hours, 3 hours and 40 minutes. So when the Lord was on the cross, he was on the cross for 3 hours. I mean, the darkness was on the Lamb for 3 hours while he was on the cross. Okay, so let's come back over here to okay. I want to get to Xander because the subject I'm dealing with is Zandervan, and I looked up the word Gentile, and I'm going to go into the Apocrypha too. It says a non-Jewish person. This English term derived from the late Latin gentilis, pagan. A pagan is somebody outside of Israel, meaning you have these different nations and they all have their gods. So they would be considered as pagans as far as we are concerned. They're pagans because they're not following the true God. Ultimately, in the kingdom, they're going to follow the true God. So they will no longer be pagans. They'll be believers, but they'll be of the various nations. This includes Esau. Now you had Israelites that became pagans too. So when you come across the word Gentile, heathen, Greek, it all pretty much means the same thing. And I'm going to prove that it means the Israelite that are following not just Greek customs, but pagan customs. The word Greek is a generic term for any Israelite that does not know that they're Israelites following pagan beliefs or traditions. Because the Most High didn't wake up one day and said, "Oh, I'm just dealing with the Israelites." Then he tastes a falafel, and he says, "Oh, these falafels are good. Who made these things called falafels? And who made this shawarma?" Look up shawarma. He said, "This is good." He said, who made this? Greeks? I'm going to save them too. So I'm not just saving the Israelites, I'm saving the Israelites and the Greeks. Romans, no, I don't like the Romans. Italians, I don't like them. Edomites, no. But I'm saving two. I added another nation on to the salvation list. And that's how a boneheaded Christian will think, because they don't use what's called etymology or hermeneutics, which that's another way of saying, as I said before, if you want to sound deep, you say etymology. If you want to sound really deep, you use the word hermeneutics. And that's not a Christian word term, although the Christians adopted that word to themselves. It has nothing to do with Christianity or the Bible. It's just another way of saying a root word, etymology, the study of the root of a word. So if you're into the scriptures and you don't go, you call yourself a study of the scriptures, and you don't go into etymology, there's a term called loss in translation. Perfect example, Easter. When you go to the word Easter in Acts 12 verse 4, the word there, if you go into the etymology in the King James or the blue letter, it tells you the word there in the Greek is Pascha, which is the Greek way of saying Passover, which is a Hebrew word. So let me do this. Let me do this here. Give me a second. I'm looking for, maybe I got to bring it up again. Bear me for a minute. You have no choice but to bear with me or move on. Let's do this. Oh, process of elimination. This is how we came to the conclusion that with the Israelites do a thing called a process of elimination. Let me see. Bear me for a minute. Let me do this. Let me go John. Let me do John 3:16. John 3 3:16. Commentary. Commentary. You know me. If you know me, I always go to the Bible Hub. You can go to other commentaries too. I'm looking for Bible Hub. Where is the Bible Hub? Let me do it this way. Bible Hub. Commentary. Bible Hub, right? Let's go over here. So now I wanted to look up the word okay, I said I was going to go into the word Easter just to prove a point. Bible, I'm going to put in the word Easter, or actually Acts 12, verse 4. I don't want to go to the King James. King James Bible, right? You got the New King James and you got the King James, 1611. And when he had apprehended him, he killed James and he apprehended Peter and imprisoned him. He put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. No one was celebrating Easter back then. So a Christian don't celebrate Easter, and you tell them, well, that's a pagan holiday. No, it's not, because it's in the Bible. It's in the book of Acts. Yeah, but it's originally not in there. Well, that's what my Bible says, especially these idiots in the black churches. The black church is a joke. Anyway, let's go to some of these other translations. New International Version, it says here Passover. So they were correct. Passover. Passover. English Standard. New Living Translation. Passover. So in a lot of cases, these other translations are more accurate than the King James. See, vocab, you said, see, these Israelites, they just like to use the King James. They don't go into other versions of the Bible, so they don't get the true understanding. Well, guess what? Thanks to you, we go into these other translations, and it makes a even better. It even enlightens us even more. Right here, Passover, Berean literal Bible, and you got the New King James. It says Passover, Passover, Passover. I believe the only Bible that uses the word Easter is the King James. Passover, 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 Passover. Okay, it says here in contemporary English version, he put Peter in jail and ordered 4 squads of soldiers to guard him. Herod planned to put him on trial in public after the festival. So what festival was going on? It was the Passover. So it was in the springtime. Keep reading, it says Passover. Okay, right here, it says Pesach, which is Hebrew for the Passover. So I proved that. Let me come back over here to. Now let's deal with the word Gentile. So that's the importance of etymology, going to the root of the word. Okay, that's in the New Testament. Okay, we don't know what this passage really means. Let's take this word out. Let's go to the Greek. It's in the New Testament. Let's go to the Hebrew or Aramaic, the book of Daniel. They'll tell you in the book of Daniel that it was written in Aramaic. Aramaic is basically another form of Hebrew. Remember, we're in the basics. It says Gentile, a non-Jewish person, the English term derived from the late Latin gentilis, pagan, Vulgate Acts 19 and 10. I'm not going to read that. Occurs occasionally in the OT versions as a rendering of Hebrew goy. Goy just means it means the people. They also say it's cattle, but it means the people, the nations. Anybody that's not an Israelite is considered a goy. people, nations, plural, plural, goyim or goyim, which means peoples. And then you got Isaiah 42, verse 6, which I'm not going to go into, but more frequently in the New Testament to translate, because when you go to the New Testament, you come across the word Greek, heathen, Gentile. It always mentions that they're going to receive salvation. That's in Acts 10 with Cornelius. That's in Acts 11. But these Gentiles were actually Israelites. To translate in the New Testament, to translate Greek ethnos, G1620, nation, tribe. When Peter encountered Cornelius, and we got to go through Acts 10 and 11 again. He said that the Lord, matter of fact, let me go to it so I can get the writing, so I won't botch it up. Come back to the King James, Acts 10. I did the wrong. What the hell did I just do? Let me bring it back. Where am I? Okay, Acts 10, and I believe it's the 28th verse. Okay, it says here, and he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Judite to keep company or come unto one of another nation. But the Most High have showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean, because that man that is common or unclean was an Israelite that had tattoos on him. It had marks in them, tribal marks. They were not circumcised. They were eating unclean food. They weren't keeping the Passover. They either had bald heads, smooth face, or funny looking haircuts. So since they were called Gentiles, Goyim, heathens, pagans. So what the Israelites, the ones that were woken up, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, in Palestine, these people outside of Palestine, there were a lot of Israelites. Because Cornelius had to look pretty much like Peter, a so-called black man, whether he's light skinned, dark skinned, he most likely had woolly hair. He could have had tattoos on him, but he was raised from childhood that he's a of another nation. So our God is this God. So I guess he studied. Doesn't give you a history on Cornelius. It says very little about Cornelius, where he came from, his background, and he wasn't part of the famous Cornelius family, as Barack from the HODC said years ago. Oh, Cornelius is a heathen, and we know because he's from the famous Cornelius family. I looked up the word Cornelius family. Ain't no family called the Cornelius family. So here you got these Israelites that just make shit up. So it says, keep company or come unto one of another nation. Now let's look this word up, because the kingdom of Judah, the southern kingdom, had a hatred for Israel because of that, going back to Jeroboam, the whole thing with Jeroboam and Rehoboam. So when they were taken down by the Assyrians, it was like, we ain't gonna help you niggas. That's what Ephesians 2 is all about. It said, though you were far off. James, James 1:1, he said he greeted the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. So they knew that there were Israelites scattered abroad. Unlawful that a man should keep company, come unto another nation. So now let's look this word up.
Strong's G 246.
So now the word there is one of another nation or foreign. So now what we got to do is break these words up. This is called a compound word. It's two words that make up one word. So let's look up this first one. Alos. Alos. It simply means another. So when you go into the root, you find out that the key word we're looking for is right here, which is phole. So let's see what the word phole means in the Greek. Now check this out. A tribe in the New Testament, all the persons descending from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob, a nation people. This is the right definition, these two. A tribe in the New Testament, NT, all the persons descending from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob. So now let's come back to the basics. So now let's put the proper word there. You know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Judite, Yahweh the Yah, to keep company or come unto one of another tribe of Israel. Because remember what y'all did. They don't give you that whole history. You got to search that history. But the Most High have shown me that I should not call any man, meaning any Israelite, even if he's in the northern kingdom, which Cornelius was not necessarily of the northern kingdom. The northern kingdom was on the other side of the world. And that's what people say when it says the Gentiles being grafted in Romans chapter 11. They're saying that, well, that's of the northern kingdom. No, the northern kingdom never came back. When they left to the Americas, the other side of the world, the people of North Canada, the U.S., Central America, and South America, as they call them, indigenous people. That's why we say of Indian and Latino descent, the people that Christopher Columbus came into contact with, they were Israelites. And most Europeans that came over there, when they started coming to the Americas, they were saying, you guys are the Israelites. So this nonsense about all the tribes are black is just that. It's nonsense, man. The Latinos and the American Indians and the Seminole Indians, those are Israelites that were already over here. See, that's why we got to go back to the basics, because we got to cover this. So when, the Most High comes and comes for, for you to give an accounting, you can say, well, I didn't know. Had somebody taught, well, we're teaching right now. Now, if you refuse to watch the videos, that's on you. That's on you. If you take the charagma, there's no way any of these Israelites out here that they come against what we're saying and they go ahead and take it. You can't tell the Most High, well, Lord, I didn't know. You didn't tell me. You didn't come to me in a dream. Well, guess what? The Most High looked at you like Saul. Saul was desperate, man. That's why he called a witch, which he banished all the witches. He's threatening them with death. He went to a goddamn witch to summon the spirit of Samuel. And when Samuel came up, he cursed him out. He said, "Yo, nigga, what the fuck you waking me up in this sleep that I'm in? This rest that I am. I just want to know what's going to happen with the Philistines the next day." He said, "Look, nigga, you and your son, you're gonna be here with me." Now this clown vocab says, "Well, that means you're gonna be dead." Like, no. He said, "You're gonna be here with me," meaning your spirit is gonna be hanging out with my spirit in the spiritual realm. Ain't no place, ain't no hell. Vocab. So Cornelius was an Israelite. Any former one Wester that's teaching, like I remember, I hope Zabak came to his senses. I hope he came to his senses, man, with the Cornelius thing. Because if you teach, you see, you can't go by the heads. The heads are not here no more, man. We the new heads. You got to go to the authorities, which are the men of GMS. You got to go, and if you can't tell the Most High, "Oh well, I didn't know." Well, wait a minute. The Lord said, "I sent my men down there." GMS. If you would have watched their videos, you would have got it. And we're not just telling you that Cornelius is an Israelite. We're proving you that Cornelius is an Israelite. So when a boneheaded Christian comes up and said, "See, 28th verse of another nation," well, that means what? It means tribe of one of the sons of Jacob. So guess what? Cornelius was one of the sons of Jacob. So let's come back over here. I see I'm going to have to make a part 1, 2, and a part 3. Yeah, definitely going to have to. Anyway, Goyim, but more frequently in the New Testament to translate Greek ethnos, G1620, nation, tribe, that's in Acts 10 and 28. Matthew 4:15, and speaks about the, I believe it's, was it Naphtali? I went through it a minute ago, but it says of the Gentiles. Matter of fact, let me go to it. Let me go to it. The land of Zebulun, which is one of the tribes, and the land of Naphtali, which is one of the tribes, but which left to the Americas, right? By the way of the sea beyond Jordan, Galilee. Who dwelt in Galilee? Israelites. Galilee of the Gentiles. So now you get a better understanding who the Gentiles are. It says the people saw a great light, right? The people, 16th verse, the people which sat in darkness saw a great light, and to them which sat in the region and shadow of death, light is sprung up. Now the key word is light, right? Let's come over here. And let's go to, it got away from me again, I believe. Let me see here. Right here. Okay, way over here. I want to go to commentary. Okay, this is the cross reference. We're in school now. Put your thinking caps on. Cross references. Isaiah You got Isaiah 91, Isaiah 92, Isaiah 60, verse 1, Luke 179, Luke 2:32. Let's go to Isaiah 61. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord Yahweh raises upon you. The people who walk in darkness, Israelites, have seen a great light. On those living in the land of the shadow of death, which was under the Roman rulership, which is America now, and wherever he scattered, a light has drawn. I mean, you can read this. So that was actually a quote from Isaiah. So those Gentiles, let's come back over here. The land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali by the way of the sea beyond Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. The people, the Israelites, which sat in darkness, saw a great light, and to them which sat in the region and shadow of death, light is sprung up. And what's the light? This truth. So when we go out on the highways and the byways, we're coming with the light, and the ones that's going to receive it are the Israelites that don't know that they're Israelites coming back in the fold. That's why so many of our people, mainly men, are leaving the church, and they're becoming 99.9% of the people in Israel, the men that are a part of these Israelite camps are all former Christians. Not too many Muslims, all former Christians. So that's what it meant by the that's what's meant by the Gentiles. We were all like Cornelius is. Sometimes it is used also to translate Hellene, G 1818, G meaning Greek, Hellene, Greek. Example given. John 7:35, that's the KJV. And I'm going to close it on this. Okay, now where am I going? Now what I want to do is I want to go to John 7:35 in the NLT. And then I'm going to get ready to close. It says John 7:35, and I'll read it in the KJV as well. The Jewish leaders, meaning the wicked scribes and Pharisees, the leaders of Israel, the ones that sat in Moses' seat, were puzzled by his statement. Where is he planning to go? They asked. Is he thinking of leaving the country, this country, Palestine, and going to the Jews or the Israelites in other lands? Because isn't a fulfillment in Deuteronomy 28:64, we're going to be scattered all over the world from the one end of heaven to the other. So what did these lands include? They included America because you had Israelites over there. So the Lord went on the other side of the world. He went among Gad and the northern kingdom. Maybe he will even teach the Greeks. Wait a minute, he's going to go to these other lands where the other Israelites are and say, well, I'm not looking for the Israelites, I'm looking for the Greeks. The word Greek here is talking about Israelites because they lost their religion, so to speak. Let's look up that word Greek or Greeks. And by the way, when you go to these translations, it reverts back to the King James Bible. Hellene. Let's see what it says. A Greek either by nationality, whether a native of the mainland or of the Greek islands or colonies. In a wider sense, the name embracing all nations, not Jews, meaning Judah, that made their language, custom, learning of the Greeks their own, and that includes these Israelites. The primary reference is to a difference of religion and worship. Now look how many times the word Greek is there. Will he go? It says, is he thinking of leaving the country or this country and going to the Israelites in other lands, which includes America? Maybe he will even teach. The word there should be Israelites because they lost. That's why they were lost to the fact that they were Israelites. When you lose your inheritance, you lose your land. And when you lose your land, you lose your culture and you forget who you are. The hell just happened? I don't know why it did that. I don't know why it did that. Bear me for a minute. Back to the basics. But you know what? Let me come back. Garrison. When the Romans took our land, they set up garrisons. Your modern garrison, if you live in the New York, Connecticut, Jersey area, it's called precincts. Some other states they call it what do they call it? Parishes, which is a garrison. A military post are the troops assigned to it, meaning jurisdiction, often in a strategic frontier area, primarily for the defense purposes. Larger military units, which are the centurions, would be needed for an offensive drive. Garrisons were placed by the Philistines in the Judean region of Israel. Once David brought these garrisons under, because we had a garrison over the Edomites under control, which is jurisdiction under our jurisdiction. He then placed his own garrisons in Aram and Edom because they were under us. They were under our jurisdiction. They were our slaves at that time. So I noticed that. I wanted to get on into that. See, when the Romans took us over, they set up garrisons. There's lessons within lessons. Okay, bear me for a minute. Okay, Gentile. So now you got Acts 14 and 1. Let's go to that real quick. And you got to read the whole book of Acts, but especially you got to read Acts, the whole 13th chapter, mainly from the 40th verse on down into the 13th chapter, the 40th verse on down, and then go right to Acts 14 and 1. So let me go to that. And I may just backtrack and hit Acts 13. Because there's no way I can cover all these scriptures in one sitting. Acceptance and opposition. And it came to pass in Iconium that they went both together into the temple, the synagogue temple, which was a temple of the Israelites, the Jews, Yahweh, and so spake that a great multitude both of Israelites and also of the Greeks believed. So you had a bunch of Greek people, white people believing too? No. These were Israelites like Cornelius that didn't necessarily know that they were Israelites, taught by their parents, and grew up and said, well, I look like the Israelites. We got to be Israelites. Then they kind of go into history, learn certain things. Then they come to the realization, because when the Lord put out the commission to go to the Israelites only, he didn't want them to go to Cornelius at that time. That came after the fact. That's why Peter didn't understand the vision of the unclean animals coming down. And it didn't mean like a dumb monkey-minded Christian say, see, that means you can eat whatever you want. No, you dummy. He didn't eat nothing. He said it with 2 times. It's unlawful for me to eat these unclean animals, which is uncommon. I'm just merely paraphrases. And he said it, I believe, 2 times. The angel said, rise, kill, and eat. He said, no, that's unclean. So the sheep was taken back up. So what happened after that? He thought on what it meant. He thought on what it meant. What the Lord was getting him ready for was he's going to encounter the first Israelite in a Gentile state of mind, a Greek, if you will, a Gentile, a heathen, that's going to come back into the fold. Because after that whole thing happened, and the angel was involved, right? So in the 11th verse, there was a big uproar. Well, wait a minute, what's all these Gentiles coming up in here? Well, those Gentiles were not Gentiles. They were Israelites. They might have had tattoos, no beards on their faces, uncircumcised, tribal marks on them, bald-headed, funny-looking haircuts. They might have had tattoos of other gods on them. You see that among Jake now. These lost Jakes with the tattoos all over them. This guy, he's fighting tomorrow, Javante Davis. When you go back maybe 5-6 years, he had maybe 1 tattoo on him. He done tatted his whole body up. Why? Because he's a heathen. He's a heathen. Meaning he's an Israelite that don't know that he's an Israelite. So right here, and I'm not going to read the rest of it, but you got to read the 13th chapter. It goes into the uproar back and forth with the Jews and the Greeks. They were all Israelites. And the Jews didn't want the Greeks to come in because what I said, they were tatted up. They had funny looking haircuts. Some of them were bald. They were eating pork. They didn't have fringes on. So anyway, I'm going to conclude with that. And it's on to the next one. And this is basically an ongoing thing. Now you got a group, before I go, you got a group, the GOCC, they're the only group out of One West that's saying that Gentiles can make it. Why do they teach that? because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is not working with them. Period. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.